Hey Adria, how are you? Good afternoon, good morning everyone. I'm here with Adria Gross again. And how are you doing today?
Today is a beautiful day. I am so thrilled that a case that I recently worked on. It's amazing. In fact, I just asked this gentleman for comments about my work, but here was a family who had a preemie baby. It was a neonatal. And the baby was in the hospital over a month. And the baby needed these doctors. So this was a crazy story. It was a neonatal, and this was a big group of doctors. But I have to say, I was shocked when I saw the bills, but at the end, and I'll get to that, the owner of the business did the right thing. So the baby, the mother's in the hospital, the baby's born. There were no problems with the mother's bills. Everything was taken care of. There was no problem with the hospital bills. Everything was taken care of. These bills, just for the hospital bill alone, it had to be close to $1 million just for the baby. And I'm sure the mother's bills were less. But this was crazy. The father sent me these bills for the neonatal. And every day the doctors went into the room. At the beginning, the doctors who the baby would see, it was more intense because the baby was just born. And as days went on, the bills became lesser and lesser because now, the baby's growing and they're doing better and they don't need as much services, for that baby. So at the beginning, the bills were astronomical. And I think that lasted for about 8 to 14 days. And then the bills went down to a medium amount, and then it kept on going lower and lower. But this is the issue. When I saw that bill, and I looked up the procedure codes, they were already paid by the insurance company at least 4 times the amount that is supposed to be paid for that procedure code. And I am like, this is crazy. How in God's name can they charge them so much more money? So what I did is I made a chart, and this is something that you could do if you want to do the work yourself. Find out what the procedure codes are, find out what the usual reasonable customary charges are, or the fee schedule. The fee schedules can be found on Medicare. That's where you'll find them. But when I did procedure code by procedure code by procedure code, making a chart of what the allowed amount should be and what they were paid, and talking about the full amount and what they were asking for, I thought this was insanity, and I don't feel that they had a right to do this. So I make the Excel sheet, I go back to the company, and at first they said, we don't care, this is what you owe us. And that went on, even speaking to management, trying to get higher, it was going nowhere. So what I did is I looked to see who the CEO of the company is. And this is a major national company with doctors who are sent out to these hospitals all over the United States. And the CEO said, let me look into it, let's see what I can do. Okay, great. Well, we went from about 29,000 down to about $5,000. So I called my client and I said, listen, they're making up excuses. One was in network, one was out of network, working at the hospital, and they were trying to give me a reasoning like that. And I spoke to my client, and he says, look, I really feel that I shouldn't have to pay them that additional money. And so I went back again, and I wrote a letter to the CEO of the company. As I spoke, even when I called him like 2 months before that, he answered the phone and spoke with me, which was very kind of him. But now they lowered it from 28 to about 5,000, and within 2 weeks after that, they brought it down to 0.
Wow.
I have to tell you, I was so grateful, and I thank the CEO, and I thank the woman who is in charge of his billing. But at the end, it's a zero balance, and I am just so grateful that he does not have to pay a penny towards us.
Absolutely. And so you did your work. You went in and you actually proved to them that they were charging a lot more money. But even with that, they gave you a lot of backlash. They didn't want to cover all these things.
Right.
So it's just your perseverance, your persistence, your knowledge of the industry that really got this through.
And here they were paid not 2 times. I mean, like, look, sometimes you'll be in a situation where someone was out of network. And you might want to say, okay, according to the Medicare rates, maybe you'll offer them between 1.5 to 200% of that. Okay, and maybe they'll accept that. You always start out what the rates are on Medicare because that's really the normal what they get paid. But here, they were paid 400% of what those rates are, if not more. And they still wanted more from this guy. And I'm like, no, it's not fair. How could you do this? And the thing is, I always say to them, how would you feel if this was you? How would you feel if you got this bill? What would you do? And this is what you have to tell people when you're trying to work on these cases, because it's insane what they do to people. So please don't ever give up. Remember, you always have to fight for your rights, and keep on fighting. If you ever need me, I'm Adria Goldman Gross. I'm the owner of MedWise Insurance Advocacy, www.medicalinsuranceadvocacy.com, and my phone number is 845-978-9493. Adria Gross, Adria Goldman Gross, 845-978-9493. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Adria. We are going to wrap this one up for this time, and we're going to see you at the next video.